a lot of water.
Sure, go ahead. Hey guys, what's going on? I have Adetomi here. We are talking about her debt-free story. She just took a break, but I just want to take a moment and welcome you all. Appreciate again almost 1,200 of you in here. The engagement, questions you may have, just everything that you've been doing to kind of engage with the group. Definitely feel free if you have questions kind of along the way, things that's going on. But I will definitely kind of start with this. I appreciate it's Adetomi. I don't want to mess up Adetomi. I appreciate you stopping in today to kind of share your story, and hopefully it'll be of value to our listeners, our group, and even anyone wherever you are in your journey. So without further ado, how much did you pay off? About how long did it take? What kind of started you on this journey? Tell us a little bit about your story.
All right, so I paid off $14,000 in credit card debt, and it took me about a year to a year and a half. Not really sure about the timeline, but I think it was close to a year and a half. So basically, I graduated college. I got a degree in computer engineering, and I was like, wow, I'm going to go get a job. This is amazing. I had actually gotten a job before college ended, before I graduated. So I already knew that I had a job and everything. So I was like, yes, I'm going to get a job. So I was like, okay, I can pay everything off. So I was like, I got my bed on credit. I bought the camera that I used to use for YouTube. I got that on credit.
Okay.
There were just so many things that I was like, oh, I can pay for it later. I have the money now.
Right.
And it's crazy because I remember I had a $500 credit card in college. It was my first credit card ever. And I struggled to pay that one off. I would always max it out and then struggle to pay down $500. So I don't know. I think because I thought more money, it's not going to be a problem.
Right.
So I was just spending money that wasn't mine.
Having a good time. So what kind of got you to where you was like, hey, you know what, I'm gonna go ahead and clean this mess up a little bit?
So wait, could you repeat the question? It cut out.
What kind of got you started to where you kind of looked at your debt, or you looked up and you're like, hey, I need to go ahead and pay this stuff off and be for real?
There were several things that kind of caught me. Number one, I was just like, I'm paying off these credit cards every month, and it wasn't like I was paying the minimum. I was paying like $200. For me, it was a lot because I had only had a $500 credit card. Right. But as soon as I noticed that as soon as my credit got good enough, I would go get another credit card. Okay. And I don't know what the cycle was, but it was just, if I didn't have enough money on this one, I'd go get another one. If I maxed out that one, I would get another one. And I would find something that I absolutely needed to buy, and I just had to have it. So I needed a credit card for it. And I mean, fortunately, I did get most of the ones that don't have like an APR on it, like you can pay it off in a certain time period. Right. But I was literally, as I was paying $500, $1,000 a month on them, I would go max them out again. And one day I was just like, do you really want to live your life paying off credit card debt for the rest of your life? Like you can't budget for vacations. Even if you do go on vacations with these credit cards, you have to pay it back. Yeah. You have no freedom whatsoever. And I kind of got disgusted because I wasn't saving any money. My parents have kind of spoken to me, like told me this is becoming excessive. You need to make a change or you're going to be in credit card debt for the rest of your life. So basically just looking at the amount and just thinking about how that could have been amazing in savings instead of going towards credit card debt was what kind of got me on my journey.
No, that's absolutely true. I think the ease by which we can buy everything, credit, especially credit cards is the
you can apply for credit cards online now. Like,
you don't have to think much to get a credit card. Like you don't even have to have a pulse for real. They'll give you a credit card, and so it's so easy to pull out of. I know when I first got my first credit card, I didn't even know it was a credit card. Just something came in the mail. I didn't know the dude signed me up. He didn't tell me anything. So you can fall so into it. So when you really took a look at it, took a hard look, what was the way to how did you begin kind of budgeting? Because you said you graduated with engineering, right? So I know the numbers thing kind of makes sense a little bit from your perspective, but how did you get started budgeting?
So it's actually crazy the way I got started budgeting. So I had actually tried a bunch of different apps. I was like, I'm gonna try. I really tried budgeting. I bought this one lady's budget sheet, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna use this. I don't like spreadsheets. Like even till now with work, I hate spreadsheets. I tried Mint. I tried the one by what's his name?
Oh, every dollar.
Yeah, I tried that one. That one
Okay.
was good for like a month or two, but
Right.
it because I don't get paid bi-weekly, I get well, because I don't get paid bi-monthly, I get paid bi-weekly. It wouldn't account for the extra 2 checks that I was getting a year.
Okay.
So it was really confusing to use. So what actually happened was I wanted to pay off my debt, but that wasn't like my main concern. It's crazy.
Okay.
My biggest thing was I wanted to save. I was like, you know what, I'm gonna save $10,000 this year. With my debt, whatever, I'll make all the minimum payments I have to make, but I want to make $10,000. I mean, save $10,000. So for me to be able to save $10,000, I actually created like my own sheet that worked better. So basically, the way the sheet works is I had it for download as well. So I basically put the date that I would get paid and what paychecks were, I mean, what credit card debt was due and what appliances, like utility bills were due that I could pay during that 2 weeks that I would get paid. And so it was easier for me to stretch out my money like that than doing it, on a monthly basis. Because the way I am, the way I noticed myself to be with money is that if I see it, it's getting spent. So if I save it, and if I save it, there's still a likelihood that I'm going to spend it if I know it's for a bill. Because then I'm like, oh, I can take from my savings account. Right. So I even split my rent up to account for it each week. So I don't pay rent at the beginning of the month. I pay rent when I get paid. Okay. So however much my rent is, I divide it in 2, and then it's split up like that. So that's how I was kind of doing my bills and my credit card bills and stuff. So that was kind of how I started budgeting. But my main focus was actually to save money.
Okay. So what made you shoot for the 10 grand?
I was like, it's doable. We can just play.
So you just looked at the numbers and you was like, I could probably do 10 grand comfortably.
Yeah. To me, like when I heard about what all my coworkers were saving, because at this time we actually used to talk about money, right? Our paychecks, and then things happened. I started getting paid more, and
right. No, nobody was talking to you no more. When you level up, no, we down here.
Exactly. So it's like for me, when I heard how much they were saving, right, but how much they were paying for rent as well. Like I was paying at the time, I actually moved to start paying debt. So I think at the time I was paying like $850 for rent, for 1 bedroom, which was actually really, really good.
And then what area were you in during this time?
Oklahoma City.
Oklahoma, okay.
Well, Oklahoma City area, but I was in Norman at the time.
Okay.
So rent is a little bit cheaper down south than it is in the city. So my friends or my coworkers were paying $1,500 for rent. I was paying $850, and I'm like, if y'all are saving, you guys are telling me y'all are saving $1,000, $2,000 a month, but you're paying $1,500 in rent. There's got to be some change. There's something wrong here, and I need to make a change because I can't be living paycheck to paycheck while people who, and I understand that. I understand. What am I trying to say? My biggest thing was that I wanted to put myself in the same situation that they were in and provide for myself the way that they were providing. And I guess comparison was a good thing here, because even though people say comparison is bad, comparison was a really good thing here, because if I didn't compare myself to them, I would have let myself stay in debt. Right.
I mean, you hit up on some kind of like these groups and just our friends. If you're around a certain group of people, it can be good for you. If you are the person who makes the least amount of money in your friend group and you have 10 friends and you only make $40,000 or $50,000 and the rest of them are making 80, 90, 100, it's a high chance over a year or 2 period of time, you're going to grow your income to that 60, 80 range because they're going to be talking about things differently. So in your case, you were talking about, or you and your coworkers were really talking about saving. A lot of people weren't really talking about paying off debt. But you were like, you know what? If they can do it and we make relatively around the same amount of money, I should be able to do that.
We were making the same amount of money at that time.
Yeah, so I'm like, there's something I'm not doing right, and that was true. I mean, that was actually true for me when I looked at certain things. I'm like, dang, these people got money. I'm like, I don't have certain bills that they got, or you know what I mean. I have a little bit of opportunity, but I'm like, how are they able to have travel and they can and they got money in their account when they come back?
Yeah.
Whereas I was probably just traveling. I had my little 750 credit card, and like you, I had to pay that thing back, and I'm like, nah, this gets old. So, nah, that is so good. So you actually started off saving, and that really kind of gave you that confidence and that more independence feeling. That's what you were going for.
Mm-hmm.
And then I guess what you looked at, how much you were paying on debt after that, once you hit the 10 grand, and was like, man, that's wasted.
No, so the way I thought about it was, I think about halfway through, I actually didn't hit 10 grand before I paid off my debt.
Okay.
I was paying off my debt actively as I was saving money. So I was still trying to hammer it down while saving, I think it was like $227 or something a paycheck, or something like that. I can't remember. It's been a while. So sorry, I tend to stumble on my words a lot.
No worries.
So with that process, I realized that, okay, if I'm gonna save this amount of money, and sometimes I would use that money for debt. So if I wanted to pay a little bit more on my debt this paycheck, then I would take some of the savings money and put it towards debt, but I would always pay myself back. So I would either pay myself back when I got a third paycheck in the month that was kind of free money for me, or you know, if I was able to just chunk some money at it and put it back in my savings. So I was able to pay off my debt and save money at the same time. So at the point in time when I think I had gotten to about $6,000, that was when I was like, okay, I have $6,000 worth of debt left. So during that time, I had cut so many things. I cut streaming services. I stopped eating out. You know, there were so many things I cut. I stopped driving around as much so I could save on gas. There were things I learned to do myself. I stopped getting my hair done. You know, things like that. There were so many things I cut out. Anywhere that I could cut out saving money, anywhere that I could cut out spending money, then I did. And that included not going on trips. That included not going out to eat with my friends. I had to sacrifice, and I had to be sad for a little bit to be happy later on. So at the point when I had saved $6,000, I was like, okay, look, I have $6,000 in debt. And this was when I had a conversation with my dad. I was like, look, Daddy, this $6,000 could go towards my business. I could use this in my business, jumpstart my business, and be able to pay my debt off. But something inside of me is just like, it's only $6,000 and you have the money. Why not spend it and pay off your debt and just forget about it? And so that's what I did. I took the $6,000 and I paid it off. It was between two credit cards at that point that had $3,000 and $3,000 on them. So I just paid them off.
So you were more just looking at the benefit, but I mean, you hit up on a couple of things that just are, I don't think people don't understand the reality. Like getting out of debt is quarantine. Like I keep telling people, it's not fun. Like because whether you've been to school or whether you just turn 18 or you know what I mean, you hit 30, whatever the age, once you get past you're out of your parents' house, there's an instilled belief that hey, I don't want to cut myself down. So if it's something I want to go get it, and I want to go get it now. I don't want to wait. None of that. You also, which is always a big age-old question. There are some people that say, "Hey, save first, then pay off debt." There are some people. Dave Ramsey is a big, "Hey, save a little bit, but really put everything towards debt." You actually did both, which kind of points to one thing that I always kind of encourage people is you got to look at your situation. Some people have to do that, you know what I mean? But if you have the bandwidth either from your job or even from your living scenario that allows you to save money, and I think you were tracking for a year, maybe a year and a half based off the numbers you're saying, then you start looking like, you know what I mean? I can do both, which both will give you pleasure. But I think it's when you're all in one, you're like, oh man, I'm saving, I'm not spending. Then, I'm paying off debt. I'm still not spending. And then how did you try to get yourself through the fact that you couldn't spend time with your friends, or that wasn't a good money move at that point? How did you kind of work through those emotions? Because that's a challenge.
Yeah, I mean, fortunately for me, I'm an introvert, so I was okay with not. I mean, personally, it's crazy because of my fitness goals and everything. I prefer to eat in my house anyway, because then I know exactly what I'm putting in my body. I don't have to guess for the macros or the calories or anything. So because I'm an introvert, because it just made life a little bit easier for me. It was like, yeah, I don't have to see nobody. I mean, I love my friends, but at the same time, it was like, yeah, now I have time to spend at home, and I used all that time, the extra time that I had, to start planning for my business.
Wow.
So it's crazy. People would ask me, Tony, listen, and I'm like, I got work to do. I'm busy. Literally every time. It got to the point where now we're in quarantine, but a lot of my friends just stopped asking me. I'm just like, you know what, if you give me a 5-day heads up, I can make it. But
I can schedule you in.
To go tomorrow.
Yeah,
it's not happening.
Right. So that's even really cool. So the energy you had from or the time that you had really that you created by turning it down, that's where you were focusing on the strategy of your business. So talk a little bit about that. What were you at that time thinking of, or what's the business?
So I'm actually starting a fashion brand. I've always wanted to be a fashion designer since I was a child. If I had the choice, I would have gone to fashion school, but African parents said no. So at that time, I was basically just working on the research, working on designing. All of this is new to me. Since my background is in engineering, a lot of the stuff I had to teach myself. A lot of stuff I had to teach myself about LLCs and businesses and taxes. And then also on the design side, I was reading books nonstop, trying to get myself ready for when I did have the money to actually start the business.
Okay. Oh, that's so critical, because a lot of people, I mean, I even talk to people who are either trying to start a business or maybe want to start a business, but they want to get out of debt. And the thing is, like, there's a lot you can do to try to get your business going initially. And I mean, I'm kind of like you. Yeah, I know the finance piece, but you quarantine, I didn't know YouTube world and I didn't know social media world. That's all new to me. So I spent a lot of time. Like, I'm like, shoot, I might as well invest it into this. But it's a lot more than just getting up and picking up a microphone, or in your case, from a fashion, just putting a show together and saying, here, we're gonna put these pieces. I'm pretty sure it's a lot more steps to.
It's fabrics. It's the way it fits on the body. It's the measurements. Like it's crazy how much stuff goes into anything. Because, even with YouTube, everyone thinks it's, pick up a camera and record myself. It's not just picking up a camera. There's so many times that I've recorded videos and I'll find out 3 days later after I'm done recording that I didn't record any audio, or the lighting was bad, or there's something I can't fix in post-production. It's not there. There's just so many things that go into everything that you want to do that people just don't realize. And when you have the free time, why not work on it?
Yeah, it's crazy. So what would you say is the hardest piece about not just the getting out of debt piece, but just managing your money in general?
I think it's managing your mindset, because I'll even be honest, when I got out of debt, I got back into debt with the quickness. All of a sudden, but the thing was, because the thing is that when you start a business, you're gonna incur some debt if you don't have the money. Everything I bought was business related, but at the time I didn't have a business account to even put any of that credit on. So I was like, you know what, let me just purchase with my own money. Okay, I don't really have it right now because I had just paid off the debt. I didn't have any money. So I was like, okay, if I use my Amazon credit card, I can pay it off in this month. Okay, I'm gonna set it to pay off in 6 months, and and then I'll pay it off. I'll try my best to pay it off. With the extra money, with the extra income coming in, it's crazy because you're like, oh, I got all this money now. I don't have to, I'll just leave that on the side. And then I ended up having to use my tax returns that I could have used for my actual business to pay off that money again. And so I think it's managing your mindset. It's managing the fact that you know how much of a struggle it is to get out of debt. I don't think you really want to go through that struggle again of not having money, of not being able to do things, of not being able to travel. Like, managing your mindset in the sense that, I mean, I don't believe all debt is bad debt, But if you don't know how to manage your money, and like I said, your mindset, it's going to be easy to get back into debt with the quickness, because all it takes is, oh, you know, I'm going to Walmart, I don't want to use my card, let me swipe, and then not paying it back immediately and be like, okay, I'll pay it when it's due. You know, it keeps going like that.
Yeah.
You would be surprised how many $20 swipes turns into $500.
Exactly.
And the thing is that, like, if you're not using the tools that you used when you got out of debt,
right,
it's gonna be hard to see the $20 swipes as accumulating to 500. You're just gonna think it's $20 swipes, when at the end of the month you're still gonna get a substantial bill. Yeah. So I think managing your mindset and keeping depending on your mindset, and the way you manage money, I think those are the hardest things.
So you don't really like the spreadsheets. Like, how often do you budget?
I still use my budgeting method. I just don't like I don't like budgeting in the sense that in the way everybody does it with the spreadsheets. Like, right. I was actually working with a financial advisor a few weeks ago, and she had me fill out the spreadsheet, and I was just like, oh my God, I don't want to do this. Like, I really just like knowing I like to plan in advance, right? Okay. But not in the budgeting sense. So knowing this is how much money I'm earning this year. This is how much money I'm earning each month. This is how much money I'm earning every 2 weeks. Mm-hmm. And okay, how much money do I want to save this year? I want to save $26,000, you know, but kind of budget that into the way my money disperses. So with my paycheck,
You're automated.
Yes. So with my paycheck, I have it go to separate accounts all the time. So that's my budgeting. I know that this account is for groceries. If I max out if I use all the money in my grocery budget this month, it's a wrap. That's it. No more groceries until next month. So I have to think about that actively as I'm going to buy groceries, and like budget that in, if you get what I'm saying. But as far as like setting up an actual budget, I don't like doing that. I just like doing the different accounts with the different cards. That way I know what each is for. So like, for example, I have a grocery card that's grocery and gas. I have a savings account. I have a savings account that doesn't have a card attached. And then I have an emergency fund account that doesn't have a card attached. And then I have my regular checking account that I use for all my bills and everything, and extra money if there's money left over, which more than likely there will not be, because of the way I set up my bills and the way I budget. So
it sounds like which these are actually good millionaire habits as far as what I've studied and worked with people. You do force scarcity, you automate. So where do you get your money? Like, is that a different card? Do you have a separate card for just your money that you're allowed to spend?
So all the money that I'm allowed to spend goes into my checking account. So after I pay my bills, after I pay any utilities, anything that's left there,
that's yours. Okay. So you automate it. It definitely sounds like you're using more the sinking fund approach, like with the groceries, because hey, you're drawing that down probably pretty regularly, and then you have your bill set on automatic to come out. So you basically just kind of set yourself up a system, and you know, hey, after I pay off my bills in this checking account, hey, that's what's left. But I mean, that's very good, because you shouldn't. And that's what I even told people. Like, I look at a spreadsheet, but I'm more I look at the net worth a lot, probably throughout the year periodically. But for the most part, unless I know I had more money come in, that's the only way I'm really looking at a spreadsheet, because I'm like, everything else, I already know what I'm paying. I go move money to certain account, and then I know how much I get. And that don't change. I'm just in a system. I don't need to look at it. And if I spend all my money, I spent all my money. No, so good. So you said, I mean, that's definitely different from looking at a sheet every month or every week. But you said you tried.
I set it up. The only time I set it up is at the beginning of the year. If during the year my goals kind of change, and then if ever I get a pay increase, then I kind of redo everything, because the way the paycheck system is set up at my job, I can set up a max of 4 accounts that I can have the check dispersed to every month. So I do it that way, and then I do it internally within the accounts as well. Because Honestly, I have like 10 different accounts.
Okay. Yeah. No, it makes sense. So you have a business. So that was a little while ago. So your business is probably what, like 3 to 4 years now?
Yeah. So I officially started an LLC. It's been about a year and a half now. So at that
Okay.
time, I was still doing sole proprietorship, just doing it that way. But now it's an actual like LLC.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
And so obviously you probably have business accounts and things of that nature. What have you learned from your personal that's really helped you to the business aspect? Because that's a lot of people know how to do the job, but business is you have to manage that money and understand what's going on.
One thing I've learned is that for my business, if I it's kind of counterproductive, counterintuitive. But with my business, because I know I'm trying to grow an actual business, for me, if I have the money and there is an absolute need, then I will purchase.
Okay.
And the thing is that a lot of the stuff is expensive. So like, for example, I bought samples. I didn't know samples were this expensive. They're even more expensive in America. But I bought 20 samples for the swimwear line that I'm trying to start. And it cost me $3,000. And the thing was, if it were my own money, I would have been like, you know what? I'll just do the samples myself. Thank you. I appreciate your business. But because I understand like the type of brand that I want to build,
right,
I was like, okay, you know what? I'll split it up. I'll split it halfway between the money I actually have in the business,
right,
which I believe is capital. Yeah.
right.
I split it up between actual capital, and I split the other half I put the other half on the credit card. So I was like, okay, building business credit is important, so I'll do that. But it's also important that I use my capital and not put it all on the card as well.
Right.
So I do that. Whereas in my personal life, if I can afford to not put it on the card, I'm not gonna I don't put it on the card. If I can't afford it with my own money, it's just not being bought.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's definitely different. But like you said, that structure, having that structure already in place, hey, you know how to separate things.
Yeah, because it's very easy to be able to say, oh, I need that mirror for the office. I can write it off. Oh, and you absolutely don't need the mirror. Oh my gosh, I need that microphone. I have to have it. You don't need the microphone. Like it's so easy. So because because I'm able to write so many things off as a business expense, with my old mindset, it would be easy to just max out the cards and be like, oh yeah, I could get that and that and that and that. To help my business, whereas I'm just spending more money and having to pay it back with interest at the end of the day. So definitely having the mindset, definitely paying off debt in the first place has helped me with managing debt within the business. Because at the end of the day, I still have to, for me to have business credit, I'm going to have to get credit cards for the business anyway. So I have to know how to manage that money once I eventually get it. So.
Absolutely. Yeah, you can't take your consumer behavior into business, or you'll definitely be in ruin. So, what personally, you paid off your debt, you got your automated system going. What are your things you're working on personally now for like your personal goals? Do you have personal goals besides the business, or is everything pretty much business focused?
Yeah, I had a few goals. I had actually had a bunch of, I guess it depends on what you think, but I guess a bunch of superficial goals at the beginning of the year before Corona hit. So, I was going to travel a lot this year. Yeah. I was like, I'm debt free. Oh, let's go travel. So I had planned to go to France for my birthday. I had planned to go to Nigeria twice this year. My cousin's wedding was going to be in April, and but Corona. And I had also planned on going in December because that's when everybody goes back and everyone had an amazing time. But with Corona, I was like, I can't travel. So what are some other goals some other things that I can save towards? So, and I had actually also planned on going to fashion school as well. That was actually a goal of mine. Before Corona hit, I was like, I'm going to save I needed to save about $26,000 for me to be able to go to fashion school for a year and a half and have my rent paid and have my courses all paid for in advance. And then I would try to find it. It was going to be in Canada, so I was going to try to find a job there. But since Corona, a lot of things have changed. I still want to go to fashion school, but it's going to be further out in my future. Okay. Right now, I'm saving to buy a house.
Nice.
Yeah, I really want to buy a house. I just think it would be better for me and my dog. I got a dog. He's cute. Yeah. And I was just like, oh, I need a house for me right now.
Mouth to feed, face to run.
Exactly. And I'm also saving to buy a car, but I plan on buying the car after the house purchase.
Okay.
Those are good. My goals right now. Oh, and then I do also need to save some money from work as well to pay for some business expenses, since we're hopefully going to launch this year, but I don't have all that money yet. So,
well, I mean, all is not lost as far as with the travel. It's just delayed. But I will say, like, there are a lot of different, very, very good frugal travel options because they're trying to get people to book, and a lot of them right now are giving you 2 and 3 years insurance that you can cancel at any time, or you can take it in 2 or 3 years. But I know my wife just purchased something for it was Thailand, but it was like $565 for 2 people for 7 days. But we get to like 2022 or 2023. So when you get those type of opportunities, I mean, 2 years you'll be able to go there. You know what I mean? So I'm like, yeah, go ahead. It's $500. Like,
as long as you don't forget about it. So
we ain't gonna forget. Like you know, you got vacations out there that can be used. Like, hey, what's going on? But I know a lot of people with that industry, they're trying to get you to spend money, but then also they're trying to get you to book, even if it's not for today. So it's so good.
I found one of my friends is having a naming ceremony for his child, which is just a traditional thing we do in my tribe. And it's going to be in Atlanta. And I was surprised to see that tickets to Atlanta were $80 to go and come back. I was like, wow, Corona is actually a really good time to buy flights.
For states.
And I think a lot of I know American Airlines, because that's the one I use. American Airlines in March was like, oh, if you purchase now, you can cancel anytime within the next year. But I'm sure they probably extended it since they realized Corona is not going.
not anytime tomorrow. So what would you say? So you mentioned a couple pieces of your business, but I want you to go ahead for the audience, because I did go ahead and upload the link. It's going to be in the next post, probably within the next hour or so, in the Facebook group. But if you're on YouTube, it'll be down in the description. How can people actually support you for yours? So I know you mentioned you have a YouTube page. What else?
You can follow me on Instagram. You can also subscribe to my my email list, which is on my website, theadetomi.com. And I haven't been using it recently, but I do plan on putting out more, entrepreneurship, financial things through that email list, because that the email list was first started for my debt-free journey. And so I shared resources through that. So if you do want some resources, I do have them. Just sign up for my email list, or you can go to my YouTube channel and search for the video, and you can get resources through there as well. So
cool. And the email list is that on your IG, or is it on?
So it'll be on my website. So once you go to my website, if you look on the right-hand side, it'll be sign up for my emails, and you can put your name and your email there.
Okay, cool. And I might not have gotten that, so I'll definitely make sure I update that as well for anyone listening. So, a little thing I always tell people, what I would like for you as we begin to wrap up, to leave some encouragement to someone who, what would you say if they haven't started on debt, haven't really paid attention to it, maybe they're trying to save, maybe they're even trying to start a business, as it pertains to their finances, what are things that you would tell them or encourage them to do in this time, especially in this Corona time, where, I mean, life has kind of hit you. You kind of know where, what your situation looks like, because everything's kind of came down at once.
One thing I will say is side hustles are important. I actually did just talk about how I don't really like side hustles because I don't like fast money. But my biggest thing is not everyone wants to start a business anyway, but having some sort of extra income coming in to help you pay for your debt if you've actually seen and you've recognized that, okay, you have debt that you need to pay off and it needs to be done as soon as possible. Another thing I will say is that, wow, it just skipped my mind. I'm so sorry. Another thing I will say is that debt just keeps growing. No matter if you're only putting the minimum payment in, even if you're putting $10 over the minimum payment, you're definitely going to be paying a lot more in the long run than you will if you're able to start paying towards it as soon as possible. And so think about the savings that you'll have. If you have to calculate it. They'll in your credit card bills, they'll even say, if you pay the minimum payment, this is how long it will take you, and this is how much more you're actually going to pay. So it's okay to be sad for now. It's okay to be upset for now. I mean, we can't go outside anyway during this time. A lot of places are closed or they're open and they're closing back down again. So any way that you can put money aside to pay your debt or even to save to pay your debt, I think now is the best time to start it as well. I've been encouraging people for so long to start a YouTube channel because YouTube is easy money, essentially. If you're doing it and you're doing it right, it's easy money, and it's money that you don't even think about paying. I mean, you don't even think that, well, you don't, how do I put what I'm saying? It's money that you don't even think about, and it's coming in. As long as you're making good content, you're consistent on YouTube, you can make money on YouTube, and that'll be extra income towards your debt. It does take a little bit to start towards the beginning, but once you're gaining traction, it's money in your pocket that you can use towards that. Anything that you can do that's relatively easy, that'll help you towards paying your debt, I totally suggest you do. That's fun as well, because you can always find fun ways to make money and pay debt. So at the end of the day, it's possible. It's completely possible to pay debt. I know that there have been people out there that pay $120,000, $80,000 worth of debt. I know mine was a little bit smaller, but for me, it was a giant. It was right in front of my face, and I just could not get over it. And now I can say that, I'm debt free, and I'm very, very happy. And I've been trying to encourage my parents as well. And honestly, it's such a liberating feeling to know that you don't owe anybody anything. So
no, it's so good. And like I told you, it's, or even stayed with people that I talk to on a day-to-day basis. If you ever been a coaching client of mine, if you can't pay off your car, or if you can't pay off a credit card, it's going to be hard for you to digest having a home that's paid for. It really is, because whether you do it now or from a finance industry term, everything is built about setting you up for when you get to your kind of golden years. You know what I mean? What's going to make things easier? If you don't have a house payment, your car's paid for, you got money coming in, you can live a lot freer in that time where you don't want to stress. But even for us, I mean, we're a little bit younger. Now it's starting to really understand and sink in that, hey, I don't really have to wait till I'm 65 to live the life that I want to live and have the money that I want to have. I do have to get a little bit more disciplined and specific, but it's possible. And if you can, again, take that first step, budget, knock off the credit card. If you know you like a little bit more saving, save first. But I mean, that happened to me. I was trucking along with my car loan, and then I woke up one day and it was $4,000 or $5,000. I looked over at my savings account. I'm like, well, shoot, that's $300. I'll get that back quick. Let me knock that off and be done. But you have to do something and have some sort of plan. And it definitely seems like you're definitely entrepreneurial, but you have a lot of goals already. You know what I mean? So you have little targets and you're like, well, I can't hit that because it's, you know what I mean? It's a national disaster. So what else can I do? These are things I want to do. There's always something you want to do. And money is definitely a more proactive thing that you have to do. You can't just wake up one day and be like, hey, I want to start a business. wake up one day, hey, I want to go get a house. And unfortunately, that's where people get the realization, like, hey, there are steps to taking this before.
Yep.
There's
so
good.
Much like I'm educating myself now on when it comes to the house. Like I still to now don't understand the closing process. I thought it was, I signed my
right
contract and I get the keys, but it's like a whole
month-long
process. I'm just like, this is a lot.
It's a beat. Buying a home, and I like how you said get a side hustle, get something extra. Everybody, yeah, you're right. Everybody's not gonna be a business or try to open a business, but you should have something extra coming in for you. And that'll help you with your time. That'll help you give you a little bit of joy, but it also gives you a little extra info. So good.
And I always suggest something that's fun because it'll be a lot more enjoyable. Like if you like speaking, YouTube or podcast might be the option. If you like typing, writing stuff for people might be the option. I know medium.com pays writers if you're really good. So there's an option there. There's so many ways if you have hobbies to be able to employ those hobbies to make you money.
Exactly.
So, and I did also, I know I didn't talk about it. I did want to mention quickly about the cars. So basically the way my family has always done, and I've always seen this growing up, is we always buy our cars in cash. So we don't buy new cars. Well, except I think my dad got a gift of a new car, and I don't know the situation behind that. But regularly we don't buy cars, new cars. So what we'll do is we have it in mind, the car we want to buy. So I don't know. I told my dad to pick a car for me because I didn't know what I wanted. I really wanted the BMW. He was like, we're not doing BMWs. He's like, okay, I think a Lexus. We went for like an SUV, an older model.
Okay.
So it's an 08 Lexus 350. RX 350. And so what they do is they go to auctions. Auctions are perfect ways to buy good and functioning cars. We bought that car 3 years ago, and there has been absolutely nothing wrong with it. I'm banking over 200,000 miles at this point, and my car is fine. So there are always options. You can buy newer cars. You can buy new cars at the auction that'll definitely cost you less than going straight to the dealer. So that's how we buy our cars, and it's easy for us because we don't have to think about a payment every month. I think my car costs $8,000 out of pocket, whereas if we had gone to the dealer, it would have been maybe $15,000 or $16,000 at the time, and then we would have been if we decided to pay it cash, and then if not, then a monthly payment that would have made it a lot more than $16,000. So that's always something you can think about.
It's so good. Them cars get everybody in trouble. You got to, at bare minimum, 2 to 3 years old is what I say, but so good. Paying cash, it's just not even worth the payment anymore.
Because it depreciates right when it gets off.
40% easy. So nobody has $10,000 and $15,000 just go hand somebody. If so, I can set up an account that you can deposit that right in there. if that's what we live in, but realistically. No, so good. I definitely appreciate you coming by, sharing some wisdom, sharing so many good gems from the entrepreneurial to getting out of debt to saving. Again, guys, I'm going to link her YouTube page. I'm also going to link her website. Definitely join in. She's giving out free deliverables, more content that may help you along your journey, looking to get in the side hustle, looking to get something extra. But until next time, I appreciate you all being here, and I'll talk to you guys soon.